All right. Well, if you are watching this, then you get our Friday four. So thank you for subscribing and following and clicking and all the things. Normally, though, but if you do follow our Friday four, you know that I very rarely do a video. I mean, on occasion, but very rare. And so today, I was talking to Rachel, who's on my team, about my week and how we might summarize it for Friday four and what does it mean. And she was like, I don't know that we can summarize this in like 6 sentences. I think you're going to need to maybe do a video on this. And I was reluctant at first because I just don't talk about my personal life the way in this way ever. But I thought maybe she was right. Because otherwise the Friday four isn't going to make sense. And so I think this is a good use of time and maybe your time too. So, anyways, all right. So here's the thing. I went into this week like any other week, very structured. I knew what I was here. I've got my to-do list. Like this was how I was going into the week. Monday, blah blah blah, all the things. Da, da, da. Okay, so there it is. That's what I was planning to do. And I did all those things. You can see most of it's crossed off. But the week was full of little surprises. And I'm sure that you have weeks like this where you're headed one direction and the next thing you know, emotionally, not actual action items, but emotionally the week took a turn. And I just wanted to talk about it because I think that we experience this and don't take the time to acknowledge that might be significant, and we kind of blow through these times. And so the first thing is my mom is I just moved my mom after almost 20 years into a new location in Chapel Hill. She's in a 55 and plus community, and this is very exciting for a lot of reasons. It's also very, oops, change it, kick the camera. It's also very emotional for both of us for lots of reasons. I'm an only child, um, you know, and my mom has been through lots of things in her life, as we all have, right? And so it's this moment where it feels very beautiful to have a new chapter, like a new way to start, a new starting line, but it's also really scary for me, being an only child and being responsible for my mom in many ways. And I think it's probably scary for her. And so, we did all the things you're supposed to do: pack, load up, move, unpack, get settled, go to Target, buy the things you need, all that, whatever. But underneath that undercurrent was just a lot of, I don't know, just a new relationship between us, taking on new role and responsibility in my world with her, sort of the reverse, where I'm taking care of her in new ways, her being taken care of in new ways, building a new community. And so that's a thing. And I went to therapy on Wednesday to talk to my therapist about it because I was feeling a lot there. And she said to me, and I was so grateful that she said this. She said, you know, your mom is going through this, and that's her journey, and it's great, and you're doing a good job taking care of her and all that. She's like, but you're also experiencing your own growth and maybe some, guilt and shame and all these things that might be wrapped up into, like, why did it take so long to move her into this new space, and all these various questions that I worry about, like, am I doing enough? Am I am I doing enough? And she said that, think about it as like being on a bike, like being in tandem. She said, while your mom is doing her work, you're going to be doing your work. And that's good. And that this time is tandem growth. And it felt good to sort of know that this is a new thing that we're going into together. And that at the other end of this, I'll be a different person. I'll have a different level of compassion and empathy and understanding. And just a new chapter for me too. So that's that. And then I had a lunch on Wednesday with a friend who is now clearly a mentor. His name is Al Leach with Leach Advisors. And Al has a big consulting business here in the Triangle, mostly in New York and also overseas. And he saw me at an event a while back and said, hey, let's do lunch. And so we did. We reconnected. He's like a master networker. He knows how to maintain relationships. So we had lunch, and I was talking to him about my business. And, because you ask, how's your business? And so you do all the things. Something about that conversation allowed me to be kind of vulnerable. And I was like, well, I'm doing this and our business is growing over here, but in unexpected ways. And I hadn't planned on this. And I'm not, like a lot, like so all of a sudden, like the confidence started to dwindle, and I was started to be a little more insecure about what I was talking about, and it became obvious that there was opportunity for him to maybe give me some guidance, and I didn't feel like I needed to just be, tell him all the things that are going great. I just told him the things I wasn't sure about and where I was scared. Where I was uncertain, where I had no acumen, where I actually I have no skill set over here, but I think that's what my business needs, all these things. And he took everything I said. We talked about our kids, we talked about our lives, our partners, all that good stuff, his wife. And we did all that, and then somehow he was able to take this big thing that I was talking about and bring it into perspective. And in an instant I started to tear up. And I don't know, y'all. It's just been one of those emotional weeks. So then I started to tear up because it felt like he was unlocking questions that I had. And I'm going to talk about this mentorship and like how powerful it really can be in a different video. I'm going to actually talk about my lunch with Al. But it was powerful for me because I don't normally get that vulnerable with people around my work. And it's because the people I end up talking to are often incorporated in my work. And so it isn't appropriate often to say, well, I don't know, what do you think about this? And I'm thinking about making this pivot and that, right? And so it was the right time, right place, right time. And so thank you, Al. You're amazing. As soon as I left Al, I ran to Perazad in Durham and met with 7 other amazing businesswomen in construction, the jewelry industry, mixed media, online, entertainment, landscape architecture, all businesses run by women who are under about $10 million. And these women are powerful, amazing, super honest, super real. Some have kids, some don't, like it's just all over the place and in the best ways. And so I went straight from that meeting with Al talking about my business to this roundup, this kind of like a mastermind circle with these women. And we meet once a month. And I tell you what, I let it all out. I talked about my mom. I talked about my time with Al, and I talked about therapy, and I talked, and it was so good to just be with people who were like, we get it, girl. We understand what it's like. We understand the ebbs and flows. We understand cash flow. We understand, they get it. And they're also very encouraging, super inspiring. And so if you don't have a group of people around you that are like-minded, I'd recommend you just figure it out and find your group. We actually created this group at the beginning of the year, myself and another woman in the group. And we just said, we need this. So we identified women and we asked them if they wanted to do it. And we just created the thing that we needed. Okay. And then the final thing from this week, I go into yesterday. So this is like back to back to back. I go into an event hosted by Triangle Women in STEM. It's actually, this sweatshirt. See that? It's Triangle Women in STEM. This is their sweatshirt. They had a Sip and Soiree event last night, and these women are total badasses. I walked into 160 women in sequins and sparkly, shiny, shimmery. They were amazing. They were scientists, technologists, engineers, mathematicians, changing the world. They are brilliant and smart. And we like to stereotype these women as like, heads down, kind of nerdy, whatever. These women were not that. These women are just like extraordinary, just beautiful, vibrant, brilliant. I didn't know what they were talking about. When you talk about their businesses, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Incredible. And I was so inspired to just be in that room with that kind of energy, with that level of just confidence. And some of these women didn't know each other, and they came anyways, and they left with a new relationship, a new connection. It was wild. It was so incredible. And I was a host, so I hosted for 20 minutes, kind of said a few words and helped them mix and mingle. We had amazing music. We danced, we laughed. It was awesome. And I'm like, this is the week. This week has been full of these emotional highs and lows, and I wouldn't want it any other way, I guess, when I look back. But I wasn't ready for it. And I'm just saying, like, embrace I don't know what the lesson is, y'all. I think that's the point is I don't know yet. I haven't had a chance to process anything that's happened this week. I'm going to do it tonight over a glass of wine. And I'm going to sit here and think about the messiness of the week and how I'm feeling about it all. Um, Instagram is whatever. And this is going to be on YouTube and it's whatever. It's an opportunity to have a conversation, a one-way conversation. But like live life, go outside of the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the LinkedIn's and like be with people. I think that's the thing for whew, told you my emotions are right on the surface. I think that's the thing about this week is that I was just really with a lot of people, different people, and it has filled me up so much so that I don't even know how to process it yet. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. And like I said, it was unexpected. But Mary Oliver says her poem that I love and that I share often is like, pay attention, which is what I did this week. I paid attention. She said, be astonished. And I'm frankly astonished at the conversations and the generosity of people's time and insight that they gave me and love. Um, and then she says, tell about it. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it. And so I'm telling about it. I hope y'all have a great Friday. Don't let moments or weeks like this that feel like a lot, don't push them down. Talk about it and think about it and write about it and say, well, what does it mean for me now that I've experienced that moment or these moments? What does it mean now? And then just let sort of the world and your intuition, your gut pull you in that new direction. I think that's really what reinvention is. It doesn't have to be overly curated. I think reinvention really lives in moments like this. So that's all I got for you. Happy Friday. Enjoy the Friday 4. Let's love up on our folks in Western North Carolina. Um, let's just care about each other and stay in the truth of our existence and not the curated untruths that we see in the headlines and that we see on our social platforms. So I love y'all. I'll see you in 2 weeks for our next Friday 4. Bye.